My lovely students, welcome to Mathological. In this session, we'll be discussing third decision-making set from XAT 25 that will be based on Sundaram stores. Start करते हैं session, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel और साथ में bell icon press कर देना. And you can also join Telegram channel Mathological or can message me on Telegram at ADITYAKT. And if you're liking the content as well, then make sure to hit the like button. So let us read the question first. Read the question stem. Read the passage first. Okay? So this is the passage, and then there are three questions. So pause and solve it yourself first, and then watch the solution. Sundaram stores operated in a gated community situated about 30 kilometers away from the main town. It is operating in a gated community that is situated 30 kilometers away from the main town. The store owner, Mr. Sundareshwaran Pichai Muthu, or Sundaram as he was called by everyone, secured a space in the gated community through a competitive bidding process. The Residents Association, led by Mr. Tangamurthy Selvaganapati, selected Sundaram over three other bidders based on his willingness to pay the highest rent. Desperate to augment his post-retirement income, Sundaram agreed to pay a very high rent, banking on the prospect of generating exceptional revenue from the gated community. So he was expecting to augment his post-retirement income, and hence he agreed to pay a very high rent. Okay. Sundaram was awarded the contract to establish the store with the provisions for a review every 3 years. So, he was awarded the contract, but provisions for a review every 3 years. Every 3 years, rent agreement will be reviewed. Feeling elated during the meeting with the Residents Association to finalize the contract, he enthusiastically committed to offering a 15% discount on all grocery items and stationery. A 15% discount, cementing goodwill and reinforcing the partnership established through the contract. The association was delightedly taken aback by his generous assurance. Sundaram hoped to make up the difference through volume. His expectation was offering the discounts and then making up the difference by volume. This will increase his sales and ultimately he will be in huge profits. Although his sales were strong during the initial months, he soon realized that the SUV owning residents of the gated community primarily made their purchases at large, branded retail chains in the main town. These stores offered deeper discounts more than 15%, which he could not afford to compete with. However, gradually Sundaram stores became their go-to store for daily essentials and occasional urgent big purchases such as replacing a broken mixer grinder. So क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Sundaram stores is operating in a gated community 30 kilometers away from the main town, and through a competitive bidding process, he secured a contract and he was paying very high rent and he was expecting that he will be getting huge profits, and he also offered 15% discount, and due to this he was assuming that he will be getting his revenue through higher volume. But actually what happened that SUV owning residents of the gated community primarily made their purchases at large branded retail chains in the main town, and because they are offering deeper discounts, and hence Sundaram stores became their go-to store for daily purchases, daily essentials and occasional urgent big purchases. So they are using Sundaram stores for daily purchases, daily essentials and occasional big purchases. So eventually क्या होगा? The expectation of Sundaram was not fulfilled as such. Isn't it so? कि उसको volume नहीं मिलेगा उतना, because the major purchases, the month wise purchases, those purchases are being done at the large stores, large branded retail stores. अब पहले question पे चलते हैं. First question. So first question is saying, while reviewing his monthly accounts, Sundaram realized that he was barely breaking even. Breaking even यानी कि cost is equal to profit. Break even, barely breaking even यानी कि he is only able to meet out his costs. His revenue is only able to, cost is equal to revenue, not profit. ठीक है, तो his revenue is almost as good as his cost, not much higher, primarily due to substantial rent he was paying to the Residents Association. So that is also a primary concern, that is high rent is there. He only agreed to that rent. He realized that while his rail sales were stagnated, the rental costs were contractually scheduled to increase every 3 years. So he was determined to do something to increase his profits. So concern क्या है उसका? He has to increase his profits. And sales are stagnated, but his rental costs are contractually scheduled to increase every 3 years. So which of the following will be most sustainable way to increase Sundaram's profits? So question stem is saying most sustainable way to increase Sundaram's profits. अब profit increase करने के क्या तरीके हो सकते हैं? Profit can be increased in two ways, because profit is basically revenue minus cost. So either Sundaram is able to increase his revenue. That could be one way, or second way could be that he is able to cut down on his costs. So either of these ways can increase his profits. Isn't it so? Simple बात है. ओके, अब यहाँ पे कंसर्न क्या है, कौन सा ऑप्शन हमारा ऐसा होगा विच विल बी गिविंग हिम मोस्ट सस्टेनेबल वे टू इंक्रीज Sundaram's profits. ऑप्शन ए, he should introduce cheap Wednesdays where he will be selling groceries at 40% discount. Option B, he should advertise about his shop through a leaflet in the gated community. Option C, he should remove all the discounts he was offering and sell at the maximum retail price. Option D, he should meet with the residents association to negotiate a lower rent. And option E, he should offer to procure items unavailable at his shop from the town on residents' demand. अब ऑप्शन ए पे डिस्कस करते हैं. ही शुड इंट्रोड्यूस चीप वेडनेसडेज वेयर ही विल बी सेलिंग ग्रोसरीज एट 40% डिस्काउंट. ऑलरेडी ही इज सफरिंग बिकॉज ऑफ 15% डिस्काउंट. अब क्या करें, वेडनेसडेज को ही विल बी गिविंग 40% डिस्काउंट. तो इसकी वजह से क्या होगा, हिज रेवेन्यू माइट इंक्रीज फॉर टाइम बीइंग और ऑन दोज डेज. ठीक है, रेवेन्यू माइट इंक्रीज बट द पॉइंट इज कॉस्ट विल बी डेफिनेटली इंक्रीजिंग मच हायर एट मच हायर पेस, बिकॉज सेल्स तो बढ़ेगा, रेवेन्यू बढ़ेगा, बट कॉस्ट और भी ज्यादा बढ़ेगा बिकॉज ही इज गिविंग groceries as 40% discount. So that will be a concern. Profit will not be increasing due to this. ठीक है, profit will not be increasing. Profit will in fact probably be decreasing. So this will backfire. Because यही मेथड तो ट्राई किया था उसने, यही तो प्लान था उसका शुरू से कि he'll be offering discounts and ultimately he will be getting difference to the volume. But volume के बाद भी उसको क्या हुआ, he is not able to meet his costs. I mean he is just barely breaking even. Isn't it so? तो option A definitely reject होगा. Definitely not sustainable way. हो सकता है कि for 1 or 2 weeks he might be getting good sales. और एडिशनली क्या होगा, इफ ही इज ऑफरिंग चीप वेडनेसडेज तो इसकी वजह से बाकी डेज का जो उसका सेल्स है वो भी सफर करेगा. बिकॉज इन सच अ केस द पीपल, दोज पीपल हु आर परचेजिंग आइटम्स ऑन अदर डेज वो भी अपना थोड़ा डिफर करेंगे कि चलो ठीक है वेडनेसडे को परचेज करेंगे, उस दिन 40% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा. Isn't it so? So even if he is getting more sales, the point is he will not be making more profit. He will in fact might be in loss or barely break even in that case as well. So this is not sustainable way. Option B, he should advertise about his shop through a leaflet in the gated community. Through a leaflet to advertise करे and in the gated community. So in the gated community anyway most of the people must be knowing him already. So this advertisement will not help him and this will only increase his costs. बिकॉज गेटेड कम्युनिटी में एडवर्टाइज करना है, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर ये मेंशन नहीं होता गेटेड कम्युनिटी में तो हो सकता है बाहर से भी उसको कुछ customers मिल जाते, but the point is he is only going to advertise in the gated community through a leaflet, so this will only increase his cost and nothing more. So option B is also rejected. Option C, he should remove all the discounts he was offering and sell at the maximum retail price. अभी इसको होल्ड पे रखते हैं. Option D, he should meet with the residents association to negotiate a lower rent. Meet with the residents association to negotiate a lower rent. अब क्या ये चीज काम करेगा? Think about it. He was offered the contract through a competitive bidding process. Isn't it so? There was a competitive bidding process through which he was offered a contract and he only agreed to pay a very high rent. So he has already agreed to pay a very high rent through a competitive bidding process. So that thing is done now. So he may meet with the residents association, but the chances of negotiating a lower rent are very less. Yani ki this is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. So since this is unlikely, so this is not the sustainable way. So option D is also rejected. क्या ये अप्रिशिएट कर पा समझ पा रहे हो, क्योंकि जा तो सकता है वो अल्टीमेटली, ठीक है, नेगोशिएट करने के लिए, बट द पॉइंट इज सिंस ही ऑलरेडी एग्रीड टू पे फॉर दैट हाई रेंट, सो दिस इज वेरी अनलाइकली दैट दे विल बी negotiating for a lower rent. That is not possible. Very unlikely, very uncertain as well. Uncertain about the outcome कि ऐसा होगा कि नहीं होगा, because this is very unlikely. So chances are very low that he will be able to negotiate. Option D is also rejected for that reason. Option E, he should offer to procure items unavailable at his shop from the town on residents' demand. अब वो क्या करे? Already he is in trouble, and additionally he is offering to procure items that are unavailable at his shop from the town on residents' demand. So this will only increase his costs. नथिंग मोर. ठीक है, एक तो कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा, एडिशनली जो उसका ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी है वो चाहता है, वो क्या चाहता है, ही वांट्स ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी इंस्टेंट. ठीक है, मोर प्रॉफिट्स, यानी कि इधर कॉस्ट का कट डाउन और रेवेन्यू इंक्रीजेस, बट इंस्टेड ऑफ ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी ये और भी इनएफिशिएंट डायरेक्शन में जाएगा कि कॉस्ट इंक्रीज करेगा और फिर उन पर्टिकुलर आइटम्स में कौन से आइटम्स में वहाँ प्रॉफिट होगा नहीं होगा, वी हैव नो आइडिया. सो अगेन अ वेरी वेरी अनसर्टेन टेरिटरी with no definite outcome for sure. तो ऑप्शन E is also rejected. So there is only option C that is there. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे देखो एक चॉइस हमारे पास अगर सोचते और कुछ डायमेंशंस को हमने ध्यान नहीं दिया होता तो वी कुड हैव थॉट अबाउट कि C वर्सेस D. विद द चॉइस, है कि नहीं, कि ए बी एंड ई आर डेफिनेटली रिजेक्टेड, बट सी और डी में से कोई एक हमें चूज करना होता है। क्यों सी बेटर ऑप्शन है, इसको समझते हैं। अब एक बार फिर से अपने क्वेश्चन का जो इनिशियल पैसेज है उस पर चलते हैं। वहां पे एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात मेंशन है, जो लास्ट लाइन है। लास्ट लाइन क्या कह रहा है? लास्ट लाइन इज सेइंग सुंदरम स्टोर्स बिकेम देयर गो टू स्टोर for daily essentials and occasional urgent big purchases. Isn't it so? So they are preferring Sundaram stores for daily essentials and occasional big purchases. क्यों prefer कर रहे हैं? Because this is basically a nearby store, है कि नहीं? Basically a convenience store. They are not purchasing from Sundaram store because of the discount. डिस्काउंट की वजह से परचेज नहीं कर रहे हैं। क्यों परचेज कर रहे हैं? बिकॉज दिस इज अ गो टू स्टोर, दिस इज अ नियर बाई स्टोर, दिस इज अ कन्वीनियंस स्टोर। तो कन्वीनियंस उनको आसपास ही है, तो वहां से परचेज कर ले रहे हैं। अदरवाइज फॉर मेजर परचेजेस फॉर डिस्काउंट्स दे आर प्रेफरिंग द लार्जर ब्रांडेड रिटेल चेन्स। इजंट इट सो? तो यानी कि सुंदरम स्टोर से जो भी परचेज कर रहे हैं ये सारे के सारे रेजिडेंट्स, दे आर परचेजिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द दैट बीइंग नियर बाई स्टोर, दैट बीइंग अ कन्वीनियंस स्टोर। सो हेंस डिस्काउंट्स आर नॉट वाई द परचेजेस आर हैपनिंग एट सुंदरम स्टोर। ठीक है, दैट इज नॉट द कंसर्न। तो प्राइस सेंसिटिविटी नहीं है यहाँ पे। His market is not price sensitive. क्यों नहीं है? Because the people are not purchasing, the residents are not purchasing from his shop because of price, because of discounts. They are purchasing because of convenience. Isn't it so? तो अगर price sensitive market नहीं है उसका, तो he can remove all the discounts he was offering and sell at the maximum retail price. Because even then, this will help him in increasing his revenue, and he will be able to get to profits. So definitely this is most sustainable way to increase Sundaram's profit. Option C will be the answer. क्या लॉजिक समझ पा रहे हो? बिकॉज जो लास्ट लाइन है मेरा वो क्लियरली कह रहा है कि सुंदरम स्टोर इज बीइंग सेलेक्टेड, बीइंग ऑप्टेड बाय द रेजिडेंट्स नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द डिस्काउंट्स बट बिकॉज ऑफ द कन्वीनियंस, एंड हेंस ही कैन डेफिनेटली रिड्यूस द डिस्काउंट्स और एंड अप द डिस्काउंट्स एंड सेल एट एमआरपी फॉर श्योर। और इन दैट वे ही इज लिवरेजिंग हिज लोकेशन एडवांटेज, है कि नहीं, कि लोकेशन उसका क्या है? कन्वीनियंट लोकेशन है, पास में है, तो डेफिनेटली इसकी वजह से ही विल बी इंप्रूविंग ऑन हिज मार्जिन्स, एंड कन्वीनियंस will be definitely preferred by the residents than pricing because they are already doing that. तो वहां पे वो क्वेश्चन अराइज नहीं होना चाहिए। क्या लॉजिक समझ पा रहे हो? ठीक है, सो दे आर एनी वे परचेजिंग हिम फ्रॉम हिज शॉप बिकॉज ऑफ the urgent needs, big purchases, and otherwise daily essentials. So they will still be purchasing those items from his shop. The revenue will definitely be increasing because of option C. Option C is the correct answer in this case. और option D क्यों नहीं choose करना है? Because that is unlikely, uncertain, और more often than not that the rent will not be negotiated further because that has already been negotiated. Okay, next question. To increase his profits, Sundaram diversified into selling vegetables. अब क्या किया सुंदरम ने? वेजिटेबल्स बेचना भी शुरू कर दिया। ओके, so earlier a vegetable vendor used to visit the gated community once every week. The vendor, after seeing dismal sales ever since Sundaram started selling vegetables, stopped visiting the gated community. So earlier a vegetable vendor used to visit the gated community once every week, but now since the sales have decreased because Sundaram ने भी vegetable बेचना start कर दिया है, तो stopped visiting the gated community. The residents association did not like losing the rent they were receiving from the vendor. They were also receiving rent from the vendor as well. Additionally, the maintenance staff of the gated community benefited from receiving vegetables either for free or at extremely low prices. As the vendor, reluctant to take back the unsold stock, chose to distribute them at little to no cost. This enabled the residents association to retain maintenance staff whose attrition rate was increasing with more gated communities coming up in the nearby areas. तो यहाँ पे क्या concern है? First concern for residents association is that they are losing on their rent, and second concern is the maintenance staff. They were initially getting vegetables at the lower prices, and that was helping them in retaining the maintenance staff because the attrition rate is increasing with more gated communities. Which of the following options will best address the concerns of the residents association arising out of Sundaram getting into selling vegetables? तो concerns क्या है उनका? We have to best address the concerns of residents association. There are two concerns. First concern is rent that they were getting from vegetable vendor, and second concern is maintenance staff attrition. They do not want attrition rate to rise for maintenance staff. So we have to choose the options which are addressing both these concerns. Okay, option A, the residents association should request for bids from various shop owners to open another grocery store in the vacant space. So if they are requesting for bids and some other grocery stores is also opened, then that way rent part will be addressed, है कि नहीं? ये part तो address हो जाएगा, उनको rent मिलना start हो जाएगा, but maintenance staff का क्या होगा? This concern will not be addressed. Okay. Option B, residents association should discount the rent for the vegetable vendor to increase competition and ask him to continue. Now, if vegetable vendor continues, his rent is decreased, so they will be getting partly rent. ठीक है, कुछ rent मिलेगा उनको because they are decreasing the rent. कितना discount करेंगे that is not important, but they will be getting the rent. ठीक है, partly rent मिलेगा और definitely maintenance staff वाला जो concern है, जो उनका concern है वो भी address हो जाएगा because if vegetable vendor is there, so he will again be offering vegetables at the low cost or for free to maintenance staff, and that way the attrition rate will not be increasing. है कि तो definitely दोनों concerns उनके address हो रहे हैं. Option C, residents association should impose a fine on Sundaram since he was not contracted to sell vegetables. Now, should they be doing that? Impose a fine. ठीक है, this is a punitive action, punishment. ठीक है, तो they might be getting some amount out of that, but क्या सस्टेनेबल वे होगा? सस्टेनेबल नहीं होगा और डेफिनेटली मेंटेनेंस स्टाफ वाला कंसर्न तो एड्रेस नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ से. Option D, residents association should ask Sundaram to give a specific quantity of vegetables to the maintenance staff for free. And this concern is addressed. But what about this concern? This is not, rent concern is not addressed. Additionally, asking Sundaram to give a specific quantity of vegetables to the maintenance staff for free, this will be unfair. This will be unfair on the residents association's part. So that is the option E. Residents association should ask Sundaram to use the erstwhile space for selling vegetables and pay rent for the same. So this way they will be getting the rent, but मेंटेनेंस स्टाफ का कंसर्न क्या होगा? नहीं एड्रेस होगा. तो डेफिनेटली बेस्ट ऑप्शन क्या है? बेस्ट ऑप्शन तो ऑप्शन बी है. पर अभी बाकी नुएंसेस भी देख लेते हैं फॉर दीज ऑप्शंस. तो इफ रेजिडेंस एसोसिएशन आस्क्स सुंदरम टू यूज द अर्स्टवाइल स्पेस फॉर सेलिंग वेजिटेबल्स एंड पे रेंट फॉर द सेम, प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि दिस विल फर्दर स्ट्रेन और इंक्रीज द कॉस्ट फॉर सुंदरम, है कि नहीं? तो डेफिनेटली क्या ये सस्टेनेबल वे होगा? नहीं होगा. और ये मेंटेनेंस स्टाफ वाला कंसर्न वैसे भी एड्रेस नहीं कर रहा है. क्या ये क्लियर है? Also, option A में if they are requesting for bids from various shop owners to open another grocery store in the vacant space, तो इसकी वजह से क्या होगा? जो ecosystem है उनका already, that will be further strained because Sundaram somehow is able to get some profits by diversifying into selling vegetables. Otherwise उसका profit margin भी lesser ही था और फिर एक और shop owner आ जाएगा. So now Sundaram's profits will be cutting down. He will be getting into losses, and due to this, even this rent part of the residence association that might also get hampered, है कि नहीं? तो this will not be sustainable. और बाकी concerns को address नहीं कर रहा है, तो नहीं कर रहा है. तो क्या ये बात appreciate कर पा रहे हो कि only option B is there, that is addressing both the concerns. It will be increasing the competition and that will be beneficial for the residents as well. So definitely option B is the best answer, and that will be addressing both the concerns. They will be getting the rent as well as the maintenance staff attrition rate will not be rising. Option B is the most appropriate answer out of the given options. Okay, clear है? Next question. Last question of this set. Sundaram is a happy man now. He has managed to get contracts with 2 more nearby gated communities. He feels like the grocery king of the suburb. He has managed to get contracts with 2 more nearby gated communities. However, his happiness is short-lived as Rushem, a new startup, there's a new startup, Rushem, begins making waves among the gated communities. This app-based startup promises to deliver any grocery items within 15 minutes, leveraging its own large warehouses. So leverage क्या है इनका? They have large warehouses and hence they are able to deliver grocery items within 15 minutes. Earlier, Rushem was confined to the main town, but now the startup has expanded its delivery services to the suburbs, including gated communities where Sundaram operates. Of course, for the suburbs, Rushem promises delivery within 60 minutes. So in gated communities in the suburb, Rushem promises delivery within 60 minutes, while otherwise in the town, in the main town, it is promising delivery in 15 minutes. Though not an official slogan, the rumor in the market is that Rushem's founder inspired her employees by shouting "Rush him" or "Crash him," but push him through that door. Sundaram started losing business to Rushem. He felt rushed, pushed, and was wondering if his business would come crashing. What should Sundaram best do to ensure that his revenue do not come down due to Rushem? So Sundaram का एक्शन क्या होना चाहिए? What should he do best to ensure that his revenue does not come down due to Rushem? Option A, Sundaram should start giving discounts on every product he sells. So will it ensure that his revenue does not come down? Okay, if he starts giving discounts on every product he sells. Hold पे रखते हैं. Option B, Sundaram should employ a few helpers who will do home delivery of his products within 10 minutes across the 3 gated communities. Hold पे रखते हैं. Option C, Sundaram should not bother since the nearest town is 30 kilometers away. Should not bother. His revenue is already coming down. He is feeling rushed, pushed, and is wondering if his business would come crashing. But definitely his revenue is coming down, and if he is not bothering, then it will further come down. And definitely option C should not be chosen. Because इसकी वजह से तो उसका revenue already is getting down, and he will definitely be crashed after some time. So option C should not be chosen. Option D, Sundaram should explore starting his own delivery startup, Finisham, dedicated to the suburb, competing with Russian. And option E, Sundaram should demand that his rent be reduced to one third since Russian has free access to these societies. Now, will his rent be reduced to one third? Highly unlikely. And Russian has free access to these societies, but यहाँ पे residence association कोई रोल नहीं है कि नहीं? Because Russian is anyway online startup. So this is highly unlikely. And even if his rent is reduced, ठीक है, चलो मान भी लिया कि even if rent is reduced, तो क्या होगा उसकी वजह से? If the rent is reduced, तो cost तो reduce हो जाएगा, but revenue is still coming down ना, वो पार्ट तो एड्रेस नहीं हुआ. So this is anyway not addressing the concern. Option E is definitely rejected. पहली चीज तो रेंट ही रिड्यूस नहीं होगा, और अगर रेंट रिड्यूस हो भी जाता है, इवन देन रेवेन्यू इज स्टिल कमिंग डाउन, so he might still be, his business might still be crashed because of that coming down revenue, isn't it? So option D, Sundaram should explore starting his own delivery startup, Finisham, dedicated to the suburb, competing with Russian. अब ये एक नया टेरिटरी में जाना हो गया, ये रिस्की टेरिटरी. He should start another business, another delivery startup, Finisham, but this is not his domain, not his expertise. Highly uncertain outcomes, और फिर साथ में how can he compete with a delivery startup that is already there and that is operating in the main town and has also expanded to suburbs. So that is large, they have large warehouses, so they have definitely a good funding. So Sundaram will not be able to compete with them. This is not his expertise either, so unnecessarily this will only increase his costs and might still not work in his favor. So definitely option D is not selected. Okay, this is not the best way to ensure, बिकॉज यहाँ पे इंश्योर नहीं कर रहे, हाईली अनलाइकली टेरेन में जा रहा है, अनसर्टेन टेरेन में जा रहा है, रिस्की टेरेन में जा रहा है, उसका एक्सपर्टीज भी नहीं है, वहाँ पे जाके और पैसा लगा दे और कॉस्ट बढ़ा दे और उसके बाद में पता नहीं क्या होगा, तो इवन देन ही माइट फेल. तो ऑप्शन डी विल ऑल्सो नॉट बी सेलेक्टेड. तो सी डी ये तो रिजेक्ट हो गया. ए और बी के बारे में बात करते हैं. ए सेइंग सुंदरम शुड स्टार्ट गिविंग डिस्काउंट्स ऑन एवरी प्रोडक्ट दैट ही सेल्स, ऑन एवरी प्रोडक्ट. So this will further increase his costs because of additional discounts, or revenue might still come down because he is not addressing the major concern. And major concern क्या है यहाँ पे? He cannot compete with Russian on discounts, isn't it so? और साथ में क्या है, discounts की वजह से अगर even if the revenue is coming there, so the cost is also increasing, isn't it so? So ultimately this will not help him much. And option B, Sundaram should employ a few helpers who will do home delivery of his products within 10 minutes. Now Russian is operating from main town, and that is why it is offering delivery in 60 minutes. But Sundaram, in case of Sundaram, he has the competitive advantage in this case because he is operating from the gated communities. So he can deliver the items within 10 minutes. So he has that competitive advantage of convenience. Again, location. He is operating from nearby location. So that is why he can deliver the items within 10 minutes. And this will be ensuring that he is competing with Russian because of his location advantage. And ultimately, this will help him in sustaining his revenue. Definitely option B is a better option and best among the given options. Option B should be chosen. That best way for Sundaram to ensure the revenue is that he employs a few helpers who will do home delivery of his products within 10 minutes across the 3 gated communities. अब हाँ ये ज़रूर होगा कि because of this his cost may be increasing, but his revenue will also increase because of this convenience that he will be providing additionally. And in case of option A, he is further giving discounts, यानी कि cost is increasing, but you are not sure about the revenue. बिकॉज ऑलरेडी उसके सामने जो ट्रबल आ रहा था इनिशियली, शुरू से ही देख रहे हैं, जो हमारा इनिशियल पैसेज में ही है कि दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द डिस्काउंट दैट ही वॉज गिविंग. और डिस्काउंट ऑन एवरी प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज अदर फर्दर प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, या तो कुछ प्रोडक्ट पे होता तो मे बी शायद काम कर जाता, बट ऑन एवरी प्रोडक्ट, so that will not definitely not be giving him profits. So option B is preferable option in this case, and that is the most appropriate option that should be selected. क्या अप्रिशिएट कर पा रहे हो? So this is all about this particular set that we discussed, and I believe कि जो भी हमने क्वेश्चन डिस्कस किए सारी की सारी बातें समझ में आई होंगी. फिर भी किसी क्वेश्चन में अगर कहीं पे डाउट रहता है या कोई तुम्हारा लॉजिक है, कंसर्न है, तो मेक श्योर टू कमेंट अबाउट दैट डाउट एज वेल. Okay, so that's all for this session, and if you like this session then make sure to hit a like button as well. That's all. Bye bye, take care and keep learning.